Good day everyone, and especially to my instructor, Sir Junel Mark Sarno. And first of all, I would like to introduce myself. I am Junjun Bigat Maitan, a Bachelor of Science in Criminology, Section Bravo. And today, we are going to discuss the introduction of criminal justice system. Okay. The 5 pillars of criminal justice system. The 5 pillars represent as a tool of maintain peace and order, prevent and control crimes, and give justice and every person. The first pillar is a law enforcement pillar. It consists mainly of the officers and men of the Philippine National Police (PNP), the National Bureau of Investigation (NBI), and other law enforcement agencies. Their work consists in the prevention and control of crimes, enforcement of law, and effects the arrest offenders, including the conduct of law searches and seizures to gather necessary evidence so that a complaint may be filed with the prosecutor office. The NBI is an agency of the DOJ. It serves as a main authority truth with program service by the Department of delivered to the people. NBI has its own specialized and humanized society, which is the yardstick, the territorial jurisdiction, and NBI is national scope and extends to all cities and provinces of our country. The only limitations or exceptions are those provided by pertinent laws and policies. So, what is the first pillar? The pillars started a law enforcement. They enforced the law to prevent and control crimes or prevent an anatomy of crime in which they can prevent crime just by their presence. Example, here is the criminals will be hindered in doing a crime if they saw a law enforcers patrolling around place, and by that motive opportunity of the criminal commit a crime will be prevented. Aside from preventing crimes, the community, and if the case may be divert, mislead where no sufficient ground that can sustain complaint against the suspect. Next is the second pillar, is the prosecution of arm of the government. It is mandate of uphold the rule of law. The National Prosecution Service made up of the regional, provincial, and city prosecutor and state prosecutors. There are two preparatory stage in criminal action. The second preparatory stage is the preliminary investigations. It is the stage at which a prosecutor evaluates the findings and the police and determine prosecutions of the suspect in court is warranted. Preliminary investigation may be conducted by the prosecutors as such other officers as may be authorized by law or judge municipal trial court or municipal circuit trial courts. Sec 2 Rule 112 Rule of Court as regards crimes within the jurisdictions of regional trial court. The accused may demand preliminary investigation and required by law. They say that the prosecutor in whatever land or claim hold a very important and powerful office in the CGS. He is the decisions whether to prosecute in case or not. He may null, prosecute, divide not to prosecute if they feels that evidence is insufficient to gain and convictions, yet he may hold the case and open for further actions if and when warranted. But powerful of the prosecutor may seem to be in the Philippines as well as in any other country, yet and cannot successfully prosecute case alone and render justice to anyone without cooperations and collaborations of the other component of criminal justice system. Neither may be able to establish his case in court in the absences of fair, competent, and independent-minded judge. Nor would his work and that of judge and the conviction of felon, for without the deductions of duty of prison and community, said felon or criminal would keep coming into the system and a burden to society. Okay, what is the second pillar? Second pillar will remove the prosecution is the suspect is arrested, in which prosecutor will be analyze and evaluate the evidence that presented. Once that the evidence is valid and strong enough, okay, valid and strong enough, they can now criminal reverted return to the community if the case may be diverted, misled where there is no probable cause that sustain. And the third pillar of the CGS is the court pillar. It is the forum where the prosecution is given the opportunity to prove that there is a strong evidence of guilt against the accused. It is also in the court that the accused is given his day to disprove the accusations against him. The constitutional presumption is the innocence of may person accused of a crime unless proven otherwise. This means that the courts must determine the guilt of the accused beyond reasonable doubt, based on the strength of the evidence of the prosecution. If there is the reasonable doubt that accused committed the crime, he has to be acquitted. Okay. What is the third pillar? The third pillar is court, where the case will be moved where the prosecutor determine the probable cause. This court is truly independent, just, and speedy to the end that innocent person and convicted and guilty man and acquitted. There is also chance that these criminals will be diverted, returned to the community if the case may be diverted, misled, where the evidence is not enough for convictions of the offenders. That's all. And the fourth pillar is the correction pillar. It takes over once that accused, after having been found guilty, is meted out the penalty for crime be committed. The punishment may be in the form of isolation of the consist by imprisonment for the periods laid down by the courts, in our extreme cases, their execution by the method prescribed by the law, when the penalty imprisonment, the sentence is carried out either with municipality jail, the provincial jail, or national penitentiary, depending on the length and sentence meted out. The Bureau of Corrections, Board of Pardons and Paroles, and the parole are probations administrations agencies. Also of DOJ are part of corrections pillar. The principal task of the Bureau of Corrections is the rehabilitation of sentence. The probations of administrations exercises general supervisions over all paroles and probationers and promotes the corrections and rehabilitations of offenders. There are other agencies charged with the administrations and supervisions and prisoners and detainees. These are the Bureau and Jail Management and Penology, which supervise city, municipal jail, and the police, the prosecutor, the judge, and the correction of personnel. Out of necessary, it has been said, the criminal justice system relies on citizen participation. Without the active participations of the members of the community, the process. The police rely on citizens to report crimes and to assist them in the conduct of investigations. The prosecutor and the judge depend upon citizen witnesses in the prosecution of the offender. The correction staff trust them, support, and community-based correction program, PUNO, Contemporary Problems in the Administration of Criminal Justice, Journal, 1982, Vol. Number 2. The community at large are expected to formulate moral and ethical values, develop the environment for the development of civic-spirited citizens, foster respect respect for and observance of the rule of law. Public and private educational institution, parent and guardians, church, religious organizations, civic associations, among others, are collectively considered a component of the CGS. So are the individual citizens who are supposed to prevent crimes, report offenses of the authorities, make warrantless arrest of proper case, give evidence in court, to put criminal behind bars, and help in the rehabilitations of offenders. So, okay. What is fourth pillar? Fourth pillar is the correction where the accused will be moved her if it is found guilty. They rehabilitate and reintegrate offenders into the mainstream of society and uphold their human right and dignity through speedy and legal of administrative processes and provisions and scientific and spiritual program in case of imprisonment, full service of sentence, diversions take place through the grant of paroles, condition pardon, probation is by itself of diversion process. Okay. The fifth pillar. The fifth pillar, community involvement in criminal justice administration. The seminar enable faculty member of the United Nations Asia and Far East Institute UNAFEI and various criminal justice officials from every sector of the criminal justice system in the Philippines collect, exchange information and experience of the involvement of the community in the criminal justice administrations. The community is viewed to be an integral part of the criminal justice in the Philippines and has been recognized in it is the fifth pillar of the criminal justice system. The order are the police, prosecution, court, and corrections. The seminar concluded with the adoptions of final recommendations that will not only enhance Philippines' criminal justice system but also contribute to the need an international community in the field of community involvement in criminal justice. So, what is fifth pillar? The fifth pillar is community working for peace and order and partnership with the other pillar and integrate plan of action and combat crimes and promotes justice. And that is all.
Stop.
Thank you.